1.
Hello, Revere, and welcome to our Revere Veterans and Community Show. I have a special guest. Her name is Priscilla Nickerson. Priscilla, welcome to the Revere TV.
Thank you, Morris.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank
you
you.
are a Revere resident, and you grew up in Revere. Tell
Yes.
us a little about that.
Yes, I've been a lifelong Revere resident. I grew up on Proctor Ave, and I lived there with my mom. My dad had passed away. I lived there with my mom and my sister until I got married.
Right? And you tell us about now. You've been married for, I believe, 22 years?
22 years, this past September 26th.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about that. Tell us how you first met your husband.
Well, I met my husband. I was working in a bank, and he actually came in, and we started to talk to each other, and eventually we dated, and not shortly after, but I would say after 2.5 years we got engaged, and about 2 years later we were married, and we've been, so a total of 27 years we've been together.
You know, it's funny because my wife and I, when we met, we only knew each other for about 3 months because I was overseas back and forth. But we've
Okay.
been married 22 years, and I've been married 65 years.
Congratulations.
I also understand you have a terrific business in Revere, so tell us a little about that one.
Yes, my husband and I, about 6 years ago, purchased the Casa Lucia Function Facility. When we purchased it, it was actually the ITAM, which is the Italian American Club. And they were putting it up for sale. And so my husband and I purchased it about 6 years ago. We rehabbed the whole building inside and outside.
It's a beautiful job you people did because I have
Thank
been
you.
there.
Thank you, Morris. And I'm very proud. We specialize in weddings, birthday parties, anniversaries, and I have a wonderful staff that I'm very proud of. And it's a job that I actually enjoy going to. So I really love the location, and because it's not too far from my home, so it worked out well.
I believe we may have some photo shoots of that Casa Lucia.
Yes, yes.
Yes, there's a chance we could get them up on the screen. Oh, there they are.
There it is.
Good. Now you can talk about it.
Well, if you can see everything on the outside, when we purchased the building, there was actually no landscaping at all. And we put in grass and pavers and trees and flowers, and we actually put that overhang and that big, huge sign that you can see from Route 1. It came out really beautiful.
It is beautiful looking. I wonder if they have a photo shoot of the inside of it too, you think?
No, I don't think they have
Okay,
something
but
of
if
the
people
inside.
wanted to rent out the Casa Lucia, who would they contact and where would they call?
Well, they can call my function manager, Lauren, and our phone number at Casa Lucia is 781-289-3399.
Right, and how much time do you need in advance? Let's say a person wants to do a wedding. How much time do
Well, there's really no, time slot. If they have a certain date in mind, I
Right.
would call as soon as possible. But, if they're flexible on the date, they can call anytime.
So in other words, you do functions, weddings, graduations.
Yes, just about everything. We even do, sadly, but we do bereavements also.
Oh.
And we're very close. We're in close proximity to a lot of the cemeteries. So people, they like how convenient we are to the cemeteries.
So that's good. Okay, now beside that, I heard you volunteer for many, oh boy. This is only a half-hour show, okay?
Thanks, Mark.
I heard you volunteer for many committees. So tell me a little about the transition team, for example, on elder services.
Okay. I am on a lot of committees, and I actually enjoy what I do so much. That's why I keep adding to different.
Can I interrupt you just for a minute?
Sure.
We had a gentleman up here, maybe you know him, Daniel O'Leary from the Revere Veterans, not Revere Veterans, Revere Chelsea Winthrop Elder Affairs Service. Does that ring a bell to you?
I've heard the name, but I've never met him. I've never met him, but I've heard very nice things about him.
Okay.
My-
Exactly. And
my-
exactly what does the elder services do?
I co-chair a committee along with Steve Fielding from the Senior Center.
Right, who I happen to know very well.
And he's doing a great job there.
Excellent job.
Great job. So Steve and I teamed up and we formed a committee because the administration wanted to provide more services for the seniors. You know, whether it's, you know, Zumba classes or having entertainment there, you know, taking trips outside of the senior center. So Steve and I, along with the committee, have come up with new ideas for the seniors. And when we toured, you know, the building, we saw that it was in need of some repairs. So I'm proud to say, together with Steve and the committee, we repaired the handicap ramp. We put new railings in the front of the building, new hatch so that the roof wouldn't leak anymore. And we actually worked with state delegates to obtain $150,000 for a brand new roof on the senior center. So I am so proud that we obtained the $150,000 and we did not touch this city's budget.
Right, and I want to thank you, which you did not mention, but I will, because of people like you. No, and me being a part of the senior center, because I go to the senior center, we also got a new van for transportation for the folks around, and I want to thank you and your people that did that for us.
That's true. That's true. We received grant money, which also did not
Right.
touch the city budget. They received grant money for that beautiful van that transports the seniors from their home to the senior center.
Right. And if people want to use that van, all they have to do is call the senior center at 781-286-8156. And thanks to people like Priscilla here.
Well, I have to say, Steve Fielding was more instrumental on that than I, but on the committee, we've come up with these ideas together that we needed, you know, the new van, but he's the one that pursued the grant money. But together, it was, you know, all of our ideas.
Right. There's so many here, but I'm going to leave some of them out because we only have a half an hour. So I would like to get to
Okay.
the next one. The West Revere Neighborhood Group.
Yes.
Tell us something about that.
Okay. I'm the co-chair of the West Revere Neighborhood Group also. I work alongside Elle Baker, who works for the city. She does the city end, I do the residential end. And together we form the West Revere Neighborhood Group, which brings the community together. We listen to the concerns of the neighborhood. We've actually had different departments of the city come to our meetings, whether it was Nick Catanazzo from, you know, the Board of Health. We've had police officers from the different task force that's come to meet the citizens of our community. We had the gentleman from Bike to the Sea. We had two gentlemen from the high school come and give CPR training. So we're trying to get the neighborhood more involved with the community to come together. And I have to say, it's been a great success.
Good. The next one I want to ask you is about the Murals Committee.
Okay. I'm actually on the Murals Committee also. And the Murals Committee is on the underpasses. We started actually with the underpasses on Malden Street and Sargent Street because they were very run down looking. They had graffiti, different color paints, and we worked with, again, the state because they're state-owned property, and we cleaned and painted. And I have to say, I think you have pictures here of the before and after of the underpasses.
Oh,
And
they should be coming up on. There they are, right there.
all right, that's the before of the Malden Street one. And then we're going to show how it looks today. It's 110% better. And we actually worked on other ones, and I don't have pictures of them, but we're going to continue throughout the community until all the underpasses in our city look like the after picture.
That's good. You also, now the Revere Shines Committee, which also comes to our senior center. For the people that don't know what Shine is, could you just explain them too?
Yes, the Revere Shines Committee, which I'm a member of, it's once a year in March. The whole community comes together, all ages, and we spend the whole day cleaning all parts of the city. You know, if people call in and say, you know what, they tell us where the really bad areas are, because obviously in one day it's hard to do the whole city. So we take care of, you know, especially like near the highway, the state highways. Those, you know, actually, you know, collect the most trash. So we go out and we clean, and then after we invite everybody back to the American Legion building, and we have a wonderful barbecue to say thank you to everyone for participating to cleaning the city.
Now, the next thing you did, and that makes me feel good because I'm an animal lover. I am. I know I'm going to get in trouble, but I do feed the birds. I do feed the cats. Okay. I even feed the dogs when I see my neighbors come down the street with some of them.
Okay.
I give them good dog food, by the way.
Okay.
And you started something that we never had in Revere, I believe, before, the Dog Park Committee.
Mm-hmm. I actually have to give credit to my friend Donna. She has a pet, and she said that she always, you know, wanted a dog park in the city if I could help her. So I went to Elle Baker again, because she works on the city end, and together we formed a committee along with my friend Donna, and we have a picture of actually the sign that went up the other day for the dog park.
Oh, they're going to be shown. There it is.
There it is. And I would say very soon, within the next month or two, Revere is going to have its first ever dog park. It's actually going to be in 2 phases because of funding. We actually, you know, got funding from Overlook Ridge, which is the buildings in North Revere, to start our first phase. And we're going to start the first phase, which is signage and fencing. And then along with my, which we'll talk about next, my Santa Walk, we will get more funding after this year with fundraising efforts and my Santa Walk, and we will finish the dog park with the toys and everything else. Actually, the water line went in too the other day, so our pets will have nice fresh water.
Good. I'm glad you straightened me out, because when I saw the sign, the dog park, I didn't realize it was for walking the dog. I thought it was to park your dog.
No.
Okay. See, I learned something new every
so
day. Okay, I thought I had to get that with it. By the way, I also heard that you volunteered, which I did not know, to design and build the DeSalvo Park at the Wayland and Susan B. Anthony School.
Yes. Dimple Rana from the city of Revere had asked me if I would, you know, consider, you know, helping her with the committee, because the park at the DeSalvo Park at the Wayland and Susan B. Anthony School was run down, and I believe that the toys were dangerous. So I actually brought pictures of the before. They had warning tape on it, and they weren't safe for children. So we got together along with the city, and we built a beautiful park.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah, our committee designed it and actually built it along with the company that, you know, we purchased the toys from. And I have to say, every time I drive by there, I'm so proud of that park when I see children playing.
Right, and I mean, is it anybody can bring their little children in there from any place in the city and around the city too?
Yeah, from any place in the city, and it's, you know, they're well-constructed toys and they're very safe.
Right.
So that's.
I hope I get this right, because sometimes I can't read my own handwriting. You got to forgive me.
That's okay.
You also were the one that was able to help Miss Sally from the Revere Recreational Center receive new floor mats for the children to safely play there.
Yes. Miss Sally, who the children love in the city, she heads the play group at the Revere Rec Center, and she had asked me if I could help her, because they didn't have floor mats in the, you know, where the children's section is. So for the safety of the children, you know, once I hear that, I go right to work, and I asked Debbie in the mayor's office if she would help me with that with grant money, because I don't like to touch the city budget at all with my projects. That's kind of one of my things that I'm proud of. So I asked Debbie, and Debbie got grant money, and Miss Sally, within, I would say, a month, so happy. She received the floor mats, and the parents and the children very happy, and the children are also safe there too.
That's good. Now, you were also the founder of the Santa Walk, and this is going to be, I believe, the 5th year?
Yes. Believe it or not, it went by so quick. This is going to be the 5th year.
It did
I
go by
actually have
quick.
a picture of all the Santas that we walk from the Wayland School.
You know,
I love that picture.
These are all Santas?
Yes, these are all Santa Claus.
Can
We
I-
actually have more. That's just some of them.
But when I was a child, we only had one.
Well, we have one real one.
Oh, okay.
And the rest are in costume.
Can you name some? I see the Jacobys there.
Yeah, yeah.
And who are some of the others?
Anton, Nick,
Yep.
let's see, Rose Napolitano, Gloria Hurley, Fran Ferranti, Nina, I see Ed, Rose Marosolo. I actually know everybody's last name, but I guess I'm trying to
That's all
save
right.
time. And that's my friend Salvia Tanulo in the back with the big long beard.
Wow. And you know, it's good because, you know, we're not far away from Christmas now. It's be coming up in a few months, 3 months.
Already started the planning.
Yeah.
The planning. We had our first meeting last Tuesday, and in the middle of the mix of myself running, and it's growing and growing every year.
I have to tell you, we have a Santa Claus that comes up here every Christmas. And a couple of Christmases ago, he promised me a Rolex. He
Okay.
did. And a Rolls Royce. I'm still waiting. But he said this year he will bring me a little model of the Rolls Royce. I won't mention Santa's name, but if he's listening and watching the show, he knows who he is.
He knows who he is.
Yep, and let me
Right.
tell you, forget about the Rolex and forget about the watch and the car because he's the best Santa we'll ever have in the city of Revere. I
Okay.
won't mention his name.
Okay. Okay.
Now, you know, what I like to say is the mayor that we have in office now did a terrific job getting the police, additional police, building a nice bicycle walk. But you're also interested in that, so why don't you talk about that?
I actually have been working recently with the police department on a project. And I work well with Chief Caffarelli and some of the other police officers. Actually, they are so instrumental in my Santa Walk because we block off Broadway and Cushman Avenue. And I'd like to see more police, of course, in the city. We actually, in the last few years, went from 84 police officers. I believe we're at 103.
Right.
So we're growing, and I'd like to see more police officers. I'd like to see more cameras in the city because, you know, I believe cameras fight crime.
Right.
And they don't get a salary. So I believe that we definitely need more camera systems in our city, and I do believe that we need more police officers in our city. And, you know, I know that we now have cops on the beat, which I love that.
I do too.
My thing is that what I would like to do is, and I'm talking about it now, is I would like in the summertime to have mounted police officers on the beach. Because when I go to Swampscott Beach, because sometimes I walk Revere Beach, sometimes I walk Swampscott Beach to change it up. They have mounted police officers on Swampscott Beach. And I think that having mounted police officers on the beach, because as we know, we just had an incident last year with, you know, a fight and
right.
everything else. So I think that having mounted police on the beach will cut the crime on the beach.
Right. The thing I was going to ask you, if you get the horses, where would you staple them, if I may ask you?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
If you get the horses, because they would be mounted, where would you keep the horses? Suffolk Downs, maybe?
You know, I don't actually know where they keep the Swampscott. I think it has to do with some, it's state police. So I believe they
It
must
would be
have
the state that would
yeah,
have to okay.
the state would take care of them. They must have a barracks that has a place for the horses.
Right. You know, before we went on the air, you and I talked about the police in Revere and the cameras. A lot of people tell me that when you have a camera, like on the poles, Big Brother is watching you. But I also say if Big Brother's watching you, that's beautiful, because if you're not doing anything, you don't have no worries about it. And it's because of these cameras that we call it the marathon bombers on Boston Street. It was the cameras that caught them, not the police, not the people, but actually the cameras when they went through and saw the backpacks on them,
that's
and
true.
then they saw no backpacks,
That's
and they
true.
put 2 and 2 together, and that was it.
That's true. I believe it was Lord and Taylor's camera system.
Was that where it was?
I believe so. That's
I
what
think you're
that's what-
correct on that, because I used to work on Boylston Street many years ago, at 739 to be exact. So it wasn't that far away from that corner over there. Now, by the way, we talked about you at the beginning. Do you have any kids?
I do not have any children.
Okay. Were any of your people, your relatives, father, mother, cousins in the military service?
My dad was.
Can I ask you, Korea or Vietnam?
Actually, my father was in the service, but because my father
Is he
was in
still
poor
alive?
health, no.
Oh, I'm sorry to
Unfortunately,
hear
my father
that.
passed away. He had left the service, but I was very proud of him. All the stories that he told, and but unfortunately, like I said, he was in poor health at the time and had to leave. My father died fairly young. My father was only in his 60s when he passed away.
That's awful young.
Very young.
Well, anyway, he may not hear me because he may be looking down from above, but anyway, I salute you. Thank you for your
thank you.
service. No, I do. And I would like to thank Chief Caffarelli. Well, he is an officer, but he's the chief of the Revere Police for
Yes.
his service. And I would also like to
Yes.
thank the administration of Mayor Dan Rizzo for his service. He spent 6 years in the Navy.
That's
so
right.
he's a veteran, a good veteran. Thank you for your service. Now,
Thank you.
we still got about 7 minutes left, Priscilla.
Okay.
Speak up. Do you have any more pictures you'd like to talk about?
Let's, I think that, well, I mean, I could talk about other projects that I've worked on, if that's okay.
Can you think something about the school? The schools, have you done anything within the schools? Because I heard something this morning that might interest you. I heard that kids that do not finish high school live 9 years shorter than the ones that do.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
And of course, they have a hard time surviving because they don't get a good job. So even a high school is not the best of diplomas, but it is a good diploma.
Right. I agree. I agree. Well, I have so many ideas for
Let's hear it.
if I am successful, because I believe that a good education is key to a successful
Definitely.
life.
Well, definitely.
You know, whether
Right.
whether you want, to have a career in law or you want to own your own business. Because my husband and I, we not only own Casa Lucia, but we also, my husband and I develop properties. So that's what we do during the day. And honestly, if we both didn't have, a good education, I don't believe we would make it as far as, we have. So I would love, if I was successful, to go into the schools and talk about, what I've done with my life. And, and I'd love to take my husband because he loves to talk about what he does. And, maybe that would inspire the children to finish their education. And, I could show them, Casa Lucia, and I could show them properties that I have developed along with my husband and say, you know what, stay in school because school is important. I never had any intentions of quitting school. That never came to my mind, and it saddens me to hear when someone, is in high school and, they're considering leaving high school because today you need a good education.
Definitely.
It's very important. So I would love to go and speak with the children in all grades. It's important in all grades because you know what, if they have, in them to keep going, they will make it in life.
You know what I would like to see? I'm sure they do. They have scholarships, for the colleges, like to take the brightest of the students and send them to college. And of course, we have some of the best schools in the country, as the mayor stated on one of his speeches when he was up here, that we have the Revere High School, one of the best schools in the country. We had the #1 superintendent who just retired, Mr. Paul Dakin,
Yes.
as one of the best superintendents in
Yes.
the nation, not in.
Yes, we're the best urban high school in the nation.
Right, and I would like to thank someone, but I'm an old man now. I am, but it took me a long time to get used to a computer, and a lot of the seniors are afraid of the computer, just like I was. They think it's their enemy. Well, I found out it's the nicest thing to have around you because it teaches you everything. If you don't know something, you type it in, it tells you what it does. And the Samsung company, Samsung,
Okay.
saw fit to give the city of Revere a bunch of computers where they passed out to the schools. I happen to be lucky to win one, so I want to thank Samsung.
Yes.
And I'm sure the Revere wants to thank Samsung.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you wouldn't believe, I've learned this several years ago, that what's out there in companies that are willing to give cities and towns whether it's, you know, grant money or...
Even Mass General right here.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's willing to contribute. You just have to, you know, it's kind of a learning process, and I've learned it, you know, and there is grant money out there, and it's not all grant money from the state. It's from different, like we received grant money from the Cultural Society to eventually, I hadn't completed about the Murals Committee. We cleaned it up, but we actually got grant money from the Cultural Society to put murals. I'm actually working on that now. Actually, I have a meeting tomorrow to put beautiful murals under these underpasses. So, you know, they're going to look really, really beautiful. So it's not always, you know, city money, state money. It's you have to go research and see where, you know, where you can get funding from other sources.
Right. You know, the thing, like I say, like a lot of people complain, I have to say this there, about the Winthrop Bridge, traffic being tied up heavy, and it was for a while. But look at the improvements that they're going to have once it's fixed and done. I mean, the traffic will be so easy. You'll be able to cut off to the left, I mean to the right if you're coming down from the beach, or to the other way to the left, without having to worry about the cars in front of you, the way you were blocked up before.
Yes.
So sometimes a
no,
little...
I mean, there's so much construction going on in our city, and I love seeing it. You know, I think it's made such, you know, improvements to our city. You know, I noticed, like, you know, they're fixing the, you know, the infrastructure, and I have seen so many improvements, and, you know, and it makes me want to even do what I'm doing even more, because, you know, I mean, I love the before and after, as you can see from my pictures. I mean, making a lot of people, you know, are making big differences.
Right, Priscilla. First of all, I want to thank you to take the
thanks,
time off to
Morris.
come up here
Thank
because
you,
of your
Morris.
busy schedule. It was an honor to have you here.
It was an
And
honor
God
to be
bless
here.
you. We give a flag to the military veterans and community veterans, but looking at this list, and I only read the first part, there's 3 pages more, but we just don't have the time. I'd like to give you a little flag from the City of
thank you.
Revere
Thank
and
you.
the Revere veterans.
Thank you so much,
Right.
Morris. That means a lot. Thank you.
I know. And I want to thank you again for coming up here. I want to thank the people of Revere for listening, to our veterans overseas, everywhere. Thank you for serving our country, and God bless you all. God bless the people of Revere. But most of all, I want to say to you, Priscilla, God bless our great country, the United States of America. That flag unites all the people, or should unite all the people in this country. We may have different cultures, different religions, everything different. But that flag there should unite every one of us as an American. So
right.
thank you again for coming.
bless you, Morris.
And thank you all for listening out there. Until the next time, I hope we have another great show like we had today. Thank you.
Thank you.